This upcoming weekend, Formula One is going to be heading out to one of my favorite races on the calendar, and that is going out to Budapest to race in Hungary. I love this race for many different reasons, one being that you're going to have to be on top of your game the whole entire weekend, whether that is free practice 1, 2, or 3, or all 3 rounds of qualifying, because if you're not going to practice, you're not going to be good in qualifying, and you're not going to be good in the race. As simple as that. You got to be on your A game because it is very hard to pass. And also this weekend, you're going to see a bunch of unknowns. Just look in 2021, a big pileup in the first corner, the first lap, thanks to Valtteri Bottas. Esteban Ocon won the darn race, and Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton was on the podium. That right there was crazy. You don't see that happen every single weekend. And that's what's giving me hope this weekend, because Red Bull has been quick every single weekend this year so far, but they have been kind of vulnerable on tracks like Monaco, which lead me to think they're going to be vulnerable this weekend because this track is hard to pass and it's a bunch of slow corners like Monaco is. And I believe it's going to be interesting. Friday looks like there's a good chance of rain. Saturday, it's kind of there 50-50, and Sunday is looking like it's going to be a bone dry race. And could Saturday's qualifying in the rain, possibly in the rain, affect the results on Sunday? Time will tell. But today I'm here to give y'all my full-on predictions for this Sunday's race. I'm going to start from last place and work my way up, and we'll see how things go in 1 week's time. But on to the intro we go.
I'm Chase Briscoe, driver number 14 Ford Mustang for Stewart Haas Racing, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
This weekend out in Budapest, I believe we're going to see a race full of nutrition. I believe there are going to be many wrecks that take place and take drivers out of the Grand Prix. And the 3 drivers that I believe will be taken out of the Grand Prix is going to be Nico Hülkenberg of Haas MoneyGram Formula One team, finishing in 20th place. And in 19th place is going to be Lance Stroll, the son of Lawrence Stroll of Aston Martin. He's going to be taken out of the race. And Lando Norris of McLaren. I just don't know why, but I believe them 3 drivers right there are just going to DNF. It's just, you're going to have them every single weekend. It's someone that DNFs, and you don't know who it's going to be, so your guess is just as good as mine. But finishing last place on the track when it comes to drivers actually finishing the race is going to be Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen, on short, tight tracks, he's a good, phenomenal driver. But the Haas this year, though, I believe is taking a step back from last year. Don't get me wrong, they still got the qualifying pace, the 1-lap pace. Terrible race pace, though. And I believe Kevin Magnussen is going to struggle, and I believe 17th place is going to be where he ends up. 16th place, I like Daniel Ricciardo, and I like him as a driver and all. He's coming back from a 6-month break from Formula One. He didn't even think he was even going to race this year in the Grand Prix. He just thought he was going to be a reserve driver, which really means just standing on the sidelines, and something happens, you go in, but more than likely you're not. That's not going to happen. But however, he did get the call up by Dr. Helmut Marko to go replace Nick DeVries, which was kind of premature because I would have kept him on until the end of the year because who knows, he may have gotten better. And I don't know, I believe they kind of rushed it for him. And let's say, for instance, Ricciardo goes out here in this weekend and beats Perez, we're never going to hit the end of it. And I don't think we will hear it at all because I believe he will finish in 16th place. But I'm just saying, though, get ready for the Daniel Ricciardo Red Bull vibes if he beats Perez, which is highly unlikely, but there's always a chance of an early wreck going on. 15th place, Yuki Tsunoda. And I believe this weekend and the rest of this year is going to be big for Yuki Tsunoda. Because if Daniel Ricciardo supposedly had a good enough lap time to be on the front row in the British Grand Prix from his little tire test after the weekend's race there, if he can go out there and beat Daniel Ricciardo, who is good to do that, Yuki Tsunoda must be much better, if that makes sense. So if he can dominate against Daniel Ricciardo, I believe Sergio Perez is going to be feeling the hot seat. I believe it's going to be getting warmer and warmer each week. But though, if it's starting to become a stalemate and like Ricciardo still finishes X amount of points, because let's say right now Yuki Tsunoda's at 0 points, and Daniel Ricciardo's obviously at 0. If they keep it this way and stalemate, Perez, I believe, is going to be all right. But as soon as the other get ahead, it's going to get interesting because Perez right now is struggling. But I believe right now he has to turn the season around. I talk about that in a minute up in the leaderboard, but I believe he will finish high up. But yeah, this is a lose-lose for Perez. So unfortunate times we're living in. 14th place, we're going to be Zhou Guanyu. Zhou Guanyu, last year, his rookie season was phenomenal. At the beginning of this year, had a couple of good runs, but as of lately, I've been losing hope and confidence in young Zhou because he's too inconsistent. Could he turn it around this weekend? I don't think so. And if this form keeps up the way it's going, he may find himself without a ride next year. And I believe the perfect fit for that ride will be Carlos Sainz. Because remember, folks, Alfa Romeo is going to be leaving this year. It's going to be Sauber F1 team. And then in a couple of years' time, it's going to be Audi F1. So they're going to take a big step forward. And so if you're a good driver right now, wanting to be for a good team in the future, why not take a couple of years in the back of the grid and race for a team and learn more and get to know more people? Carlos Sainz, I'm telling you, folks, it's the rumors. So Alex Albon may be going to Ferrari. Time will tell there, but Zhou Guanyu has to pick up the pace if he's wanting to keep that ride. If not, he's going to be out. F1 is a ruthless sport, and you got to look at drivers such as a contractor. You're going to have to hire the one that offers and provides the best stuff. So right now, Zhou Guanyu is struggling to provide that, and they may look other ways. All right, ahead of him in 13th place is going to be Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent has taken a big step forward in the last 2 Grand Prix, closing the gap between him and Alex Albon, his teammate. And I believe it's only going to get closer as the season goes on. This weekend, the Williams car, I believe, is going to be very poor. They're known for straight line speed and fast tracks. Budapest is totally not that. It is tight and slow speed. And yeah, they're going to struggle. But 13th place for Logan Sargent. 12th place for Valtteri Bottas, who's going to have an up weekend from a bad couple of weeks in June and early July. So we'll see how things go there. Alex Albon in 11th place. Like I was referring to, Logan Sargent, he's closing the gap every single weekend. I believe he's going to finish at 2 spots from Alex. So I think he's going to get there at the end of the year. I believe he's going to be scoring points on a consistent basis, but time will tell. 10th place is going to be Pierre Gasly. I love the Alpines this weekend. I'm telling you, folks, those are going to be the sleepers. I'm not saying they're going to go win the Grand Prix, but the podium is definitely on the table. Look what happened in Monaco with Esteban Ocon. All right, folks, Pierre Gasly in 10th place. 9th place is going to be Carlos Sainz. The rumors are heating up at him and Charles Leclerc are starting to have a little bit of beef. What? It's Formula One, what? I believe it's going to get spicy, whether it's going to be this weekend or weeks to come, because you're obviously seeing some favoritism being played towards Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. Can't keep doing that if they're wanting to keep both drivers happy. So Leclerc in 8th place. They're going to keep him the number 1 driver. 7th place is going to be Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon got his first career win here back in 2021. That's not going to happen this weekend, but there's always hope for Esty Bestie. 6th place is going to be George Russell. And let me say this. I am a Lewis Hamilton fan, and I'm wearing his hat, obviously. But George Russell, last year in 2022, had a great year. But, though, Lewis Hamilton was the guinea pig, so it kind of aided Russell in the points and stuff like that. So it made Hamilton look bad. This year, Hamilton's looking real good and Russell's looking real bad. It's the other way around, folks. They're making Russell be the guinea pig and test out different things. So for all the people out there throwing shade at George Russell, that is so unnecessary. They're doing the same exact stuff they did to Hamilton a year ago. They're just trying to get the car in the best position as possible to be contending for a world championship for the following season. So I'm not saying George Russell is a bad driver. I believe he's just going to be the one that's going to be the second prioritized driver for Mercedes, and that's going to cost him a couple of positions. So 6th place for him in Budapest. 5th place is going to be Oscar Piastri. I love Oscar. I love what he's doing with the McLaren right now. Was very good in qualifying, qualified third, finished the race in fourth, I believe it was, behind Lewis Hamilton. I like this dude. I think he's going to be a force to reckon with, and I believe, bold, bold, bold prediction, he's going to win a race before the end of the year. All right, fourth place is going to be Sergio Perez, and Sergio Perez has to turn the page, and I believe he will this weekend in Budapest. Enough said there. The podium, here we go. Lewis Hamilton, third. Second place, Max Verstappen. And winning the Grand Prix is the only driver I have not said so far, and that's going to be Fernando Alonso, win number 33. It's a tight track, slow speed corners. That favors the Aston Martin car extremely well. I believe Red Bull is going to be very vulnerable, especially in Saturday's qualifying session. And I will say this though before I get off here. Red Bull are bringing an upgrade to this weekend's race. And this could actually be the biggest troll of the whole season or Formula One history if they bring no side pods. That would be funny. I highly doubt it's going to happen, but if it does happen, they're going to be trolling Mercedes, and it's not going to be fun at all to watch it as a Mercedes fan go down because they're going to be quick, much quicker than Mercedes were with the zero side pods, but that's just all assuming and going off rumors, which you got to take a little bit of a grain of salt and pepper, so can't trust them all. But everybody, though, remember to please like and subscribe, and everybody have a great and phenomenal day, and I'll see you guys later on today with my NASCAR picks. Peace.